Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Visual Cards coming at you with another Commander deck build. This time we've got Atraxa Angels. Atraxa is an angel. This is part of the month of Atraxa, and so trying to come up with the 28 decks isn't the easiest, guys. So let's hit it up. We've got Atraxa's Praetor Voice. We're just going to go over it quickly here. Check out my other videos if you want more in-depth analysis on Atraxa itself. This being the third video in the series. Atraxa's Praetor Voice is a green, a white, a blue, and a black for a 4/4 legendary creature by Phyrexian Angel Horror. It itself does not say Phyrexian. Maybe I should choose a different art that says it. I'll see. But it's a 4/4, flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink, and at the beginning of your end step, proliferates. So the whole point of Atraxa here is the proliferating part, right? 1/1 counters, other counters, whoosh. That's the big thing. But angels are very popular. There's a lot of them going around. And it is an angel, so it gets all the buffs from any of the angels cards, angel themed cards. And on top of that, a lot of angels have 1/1 counter synergies. So we're trying to or some type of counter energy. So we're trying to fuse the two together, make this person lead the angels to victory. Why would you want to run this over any other angel commander? Well, there is a 5-color angel commander you could be running, but as I always say with Atraxa, it's more unique to run a 4-colored commander, and all the abilities it has are just so strong. Flying means you can hit them very easily. Vigilance means you can block anything and still hit them. Death touch means even if you're blocking something big, it'll die. So people might go, I'm not going to swing at you with my big guy because I know you're going to be able to block and kill it. And even though you might not, you have enough mana to recast Atraxa. And Atraxa does something at instant. It doesn't have to attack. It doesn't have to tap or anything. That's my kitty cat. It just needs to be there, which is gross. Okay? And it has lifelink. So that 4 life you gain every turn with Atraxa to hitting someone is great. It's insane, and the 4 damage is a clock. It's a slow clock, but it's a clock nonetheless. So let's get into the card by card. 1/1 counters. There are 1/1 counters in there. There's a lot of angels that like it. So let's get into this. Angelic Cub is 1 and a white for a 1/1 cat angel, and when it becomes target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. As long as Angelic Club has 3 or more 1/1 counters on it, it has flying. So this works with Atraxa. Atraxa, you choose any number of permanents or players. So that is targeting it, I believe. Rules are rules. Sometimes they can be weird. Maybe you're not targeting when you choose, but I believe that's targeting. I don't think you can choose a creature with hexproof with proliferate. Let me find out. Give me 1 second. Okay, so proliferating doesn't target, which is cool. It does get around Shroud and hexproof. So it doesn't target. It doesn't necessarily work there. Where this does work is any of the multitude of other creatures and cards that give a target creature a 1/1 counter. Because when that happens, it'll get 2 1/1 counters. And once it has 3 1/1 counters, it's got flying. It's a cheap angel, which is the main reason it's in here. The most popular angel commander, and one of the most popular commanders out there right now, the most popular white commander is Giada, Font of Hope, 1 and a white for a 2/2 angel. Legendary creature angel with flying and vigilance, and each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it for each angel you already control. Tap it, add a white, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. That's just gross in this deck. It is. You got 3 angels on the field. You cast Atraxa. Atraxa comes in with 3 1/1 counters for each angel you already control. So won't counter Atraxa, but that'll come with 3 1 counters. And all the angels coming in with 1/1 counters because of Giada means Atraxa can proliferate them. Youthful Valkyries, 1 and a white for a 1/3 flying angel, and whenever another angel enters the battlefield under control, put a 1/1 counter on it. That happens once you can proliferate it. Janara, or Yanara, I don't know which one. Yanara Azura of War. It's a 3/3 for 3 with flying, but you can pay 1 and a white to put a 1/1 counter on it. So it can become really big. It's just a good mana sink. You got nothing to do on that person's instep. Just go for it. Resplendent Marshal is 1 and 2 white for a 3/3 Angel Warrior with flying, and when it enters the battlefield or dies, you may exile another creature card from your grave. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on each creature control other than Resplendent Marshal that shares a creature type with that exiled card. So you cast, Resplendent Marshal hits the field. You exile an angel. All your angels get a +1/+1 counter. Other than it, once it dies, you do the same thing. You exile an angel from the graveyard. All of them get a 1/1 counter. Really great to just kind of spread that love. Shalai, Voice of Plenty, is just a more expensive version of her. 4 for 3/4 flying. You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof, which is fantastic, especially for protecting the heavily targeted Atraxa. And then for 4 and 2 green, you can just put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Great to just pump up creatures to try to get that game in. Archangel of Thune is 3 and 2 white for a 3/4 angel, and when you gain life, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. That's insane, especially since Atraxa triggers it, and she triggers it herself. A lot of angels have life. Hero of War is 3 and 2 white for a 3/3 flyer, and when it attacks, you put a 1 counter on it. And angel spells and human spells, you cast one less to cast for each 1/1 counter on it. So it gets 1. Normally that's slow, but with Atraxa, that's a second one you get at the end step. And so all of a sudden that's 2 counters, so everything costs 2 less, and then the next turn it goes up to 3 if you attack with it, and then 4, making all these big guys a little cheaper. Patron of the Valiant is 3 and 2 white for a 4/4 with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with the 1/1 counter. Not the best, but a good finisher, because if you got like 5 creatures with 1/1 counters on them, all of a sudden you have 5 creatures with 2 1/1 counters on it, and if they had 1/1 counters, they probably have more than one because it's a Trax deck, so it helps you finish off the game. Sierra Redeemer is 3 and 2 white for a 2/4 angel, a soldier with flying, and when another creature with power 2 or less into the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on that. With power 2 or less, whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, put 2 1/1 counters on that creature. Wow. Fumbling my words there. Not a lot of creatures fall into this camp because you're running a lot of big ones, but there's a few that do, and I think it just kind of hits that point. It was good enough to run. Anointer of Valor is 5 and a white for a 3/5 angel with flying. When a creature attacks, you may pay 3 when you do put a 1/1 counter on that creature. So if you attack like 3 creatures, you can pay 9. So again, not the best, kind of slow, but I needed another angel, and this one does 1/1 counter things, so it's there. Herald of the Sun is 4 and 2 white for a 4/4 flying angel with that can pay 3 and a white and put a 1/1 counter on another target creature with flying. So for 4, you can just start buffing other creatures, which again, not the best, but mono things are great. And it's not sorcery speed, so. Light of the Legions, 4 and 2 white for a 5/5 angel with flying and Mentor. So when this creature attacks, you put a 1 counter on a creature with less power. And then when it dies, you put a 1 counter on each white creature you control, which is great. Makes people not want to single target it, but you're going to be buffing smaller creatures. And the Great Hinge is here because I like it in Atraxa. Again, you don't need to run this if you don't want to, but I highly suggest just like proxying it. I mean, like, I suggest proxying this card because it's expensive. Most of the other cards are pretty cheap. But live within your means. Like, if you can't afford it, proxy it. Stop complaining about proxy, guys. But the Great Hinge is great. It taps for 2 mana, gives you 2 life. Non-token creatures enter with a 1/1 counter, and you draw a card. So, ETBs. Lots of ETBs, lots of good cards. Inspiring Overseers, 2 and a white for a 2/1 angel with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you gain a life and draw a card. We went over this card. Righteous Valkyries is 2 and a white for a 2/4 angel cleric with flying. And when another angel cleric enters the battlefield under control, you gain life equal to its toughness, and as long as you have at least 7 or more life, 7 more life than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. That makes it a 4/6, and then buffing all your creatures is just a great way to just win the game. And it's just constant life gain. Constant accidental life gain is great. You're running it because it's an angel with flying. But that accidental life gain is great. Guardian Project triggers off ETB, drawing new card. Angelic Quartermaster, we went over. Patron of the Valiant, when we went over. And Sarah and the Great Hinge. Ramp, they just all happen to trigger off ETB or off another creature entering, another type of card entering. Birds, taps for any color. Soul Ring, taps for 2 colorless. Soul Ring is in this deck because I'm running a lot of angels, and a lot of angels are expensive, so Soul Ring made the cut. I normally don't like it in this type of deck because of the tracks. It doesn't help me with that. Wafer's Bobble grabs you a basic. Arcane Signet taps for any color. Farseek grabs you a Plains Islander Swamp. Fellower Stone taps for any color your opponent has. Giada taps for a white but can only cast angels. Ornithopter taps for any color. Rampant Growth grabs any basics. Steve grabs any basics. Sword grabs basics on each attack and buffs your guy by 1, which isn't great but isn't bad either. It actually 4 to 5 is interesting because it means you need 5 hits, and with 4 you need 6 hits. So, Black Market Connection is here because it's good draw power, but also you're getting enough life so that this card doesn't kill you. The shape-shifting is also Angels, which is cool. So, it also ramps you and draws you cards. Chromatic Lantern is cool because it taps for any color and makes your lands tap for any color. Command Sphere taps for any color, can be sacked to draw a card. Cultivating Kodama's Reach Post grabs you a basic onto the field tapped and into your hand. Battle Angels of Tyre does a lot. So 2 and 2 white for a 4/4 Angel Knight with flying a Myriad, and then whenever when it attacks, it becomes, you make a copy of it for each other opponent, and so whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than each other player. Then gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. The way this works is as long as no one is tied, and as long as you're below, you get them. So as long as like that guy has more cards than any other player, you get the draw card. That guy has more lands, you get to draw a card. Just as long as one of them. If it's tied, then you don't get it. That's the biggest issue. Smothering Tides, again, you can run this. You don't have to proxy it. It's expensive. But yeah, making them pay more is good, and you need the ramp. It's just a slower deck because of the Angels. And we went over the Grey Hinge. Recursion, this is the only recursion in the deck. When into the battlefield, return target Angel. No, when you cast Brina, the Fading Light, you may return target Angel or human creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, some kind of recursion. It's a Flying Vigilance with 5/7 for 7. Here's all my lands. We went over them before. There's no Angel lands and stuff as far as I saw. Maybe I missed one. Accident Life Gain. This one's Accident Life Gain. Whenever you gain life, you gain that much life +1, and then and then it has +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life, which means since you're commander, it's a 4/4 for 3. We went over Inspire. We went over Righteous. We went over Battle. Gisela the Broken Blade is 2 and 2 white for a 4/3 legendary creature. Angel Horror with flying, first strike, lifelink, and at the beginning of your end step, if you both own and control Gisela the Broken Blade and a creature named Bruna the Fading Light, exile them and mild them into Brisella, the Voice of Nightmares. I want to see, can I show you Brisella this way? I don't know. Nope, it's not letting me. Which is kind of annoying, not gonna lie. 1 second here, guys. Okay, here's Brisella. Brisella is a 9/8 legendary creature, Eldrazi Angel. Flying, first strike, vigilance, lifelink. Your opponents can't cast spells with converted mana cost 3 or less. This card's disgusting, it's great. The fun part and the way it's supposed to work is simple. Just Cella's in your graveyard, you cast your 1 recursion spell, Bruna, the Fading Light, and you use that to grab Brisella, Gisela, the Broken Blade, and then they meld at the end step. So you get some big girl that's just scary. I love it. I love meld. It's fun. So we'll continue on. Leora, Dawnbringer. It's got flying, first strike, and lifelink. So that's the accidental life gain. And then other angels you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink, which is gross. That's just like you're not gonna die. And Valkyrie Hellbringer, 4 and 2 white for a 4/5. Angel Cleric, flying, lifelink at the beginning of your end step. If you gain 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature. Of each end step, yeah. Angel with flying and vigilance, which is great. Alt LoseCon. This is an angel, so I ran it. Excel Scion of Atraxa. 1 and 3 for a 2/5 legendary creature for Exit Angel with flying, vigilance, and toxic 2. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters exiles the top card of the library face down. You may look at that card. You may look at it and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. You may spend mana of any of the, as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells, which is great. I love it. It's good card advantage, and it's technically like an alt win con with the toxic. Angels. These are cards that care about angels. That's what I did here. And the only one here that we haven't gone over is Kindred Discovery. It's 3 and 2 white, 3 and 2 blue. with it for enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, so Angel, and whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, you draw a card, which is good. That's just strong. So you're drawing off ETBs and attacks. And this is the one anthem we have. That's not the only anthem we have. That's my bad. This is an anthem too. Don't change cost. Change tags. Anthem. There you are. Boop. There we go. Those are the two anthems, just to buff everyone. And draw. We got 21 draw cards. So Angelic Sleuth is 2 and a white for 2/3 Angel Advisor with flying, and whenever another permanent you control leaves the battlefield, if it had a counter on it, investigate. So they're going to have counters, so you can draw. We went over Black Market, Command Sphere, Inspiring Battle, Beast Whisper. Whenever you cast a spell, you draw a card. Biden of Thassa's and Coastal Piracy and Reconnaissance all draw you a card whenever a creature you control deals damage. Biden can also pay 1 and a blue and tap it to make your creatures your opponent's control attack this turn available. And Reconnaissance is cycling. But they all draw you off damage, which is great. Fireman Commander is 3 and a white for a 4/3 Angel Soldier with flying, and whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, you draw a card. And whenever another player attacks with 2 or more creatures, they draw a card. If none of those creatures attack you. Guardian Project we went over. Metropolis Angel is 2 white blue for a 3/1 Angel Soldier with flying, and whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures with counters on them, you draw a card. Cigar de Fonta Blessing is 2 green white for a 4/4 Legendary Creature Angel with flying, and other permanents you control of hexproof. You may look at the top card of your library any turn, and you may cast Angel spells and human spells from the top of your library. Not technically draw, but it does give you card advantage off the top card. I really should change the term draw to card advantage. But, yeah. Toski, Bearer of Secrets is 3 and a green, and then it can't be countered, has indestructible, must attack, and then whenever a creature you control does combat damage to player, you draw a card. Orin Phosphating is similar, 3 and 2 green for a 2/6 snake, and attacking creatures you control have death touch, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to player, you draw a card. Ethereal Valkyries, 4 white blue for a 4/4 Spirit Angel with flying. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. It becomes foretelled. Its foretell cost is reduced by 2. I forgot to put this in ETB, obviously, as you can see. And mana cheat, okay, because it helps you cheat them. So yeah, when it enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. It becomes foretold. Its foretold cost is its mana cost reduced by 2. So that lets you cheat mana, because if it's like a 6-drop, like let's say Orin Phosphating that you exile, its mana cost minus 2. So all of a sudden, instead, it's 3. So Sanctuary Warden is 4 and 2 white for a 5/5 Angel Soldier that when it enters the battlefield with 2, it enters the battlefield with 2 shield counters. It's got flying, and whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. If you do, draw a card and create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Soul of the Harvest draws your card whenever a creature enters the battlefield, and is a 6/6 trample. We went over the 2 evasions. This is technically evasion because you can force your opponent to attack, removing their creatures from blocking. Nature's Claim pops an enchantment or artifact, path, and sword, exile creatures. Arcane is a counter, same with the counter spell. Arcane draws you a card at the next upkeep, put your opponent 2 cards. Assassin's Trophy pops any, destroy an opponent's, it pops a permanent an opponent controls, but they get a basic land. Heroic Intervention gives all your permanents hexproof and indestructible. And Toxic Deluge is a board wipe, giving you pay X life to give creatures -X/-X. We went with Mana Cheat. There's the Mana Sinks. I don't know if... Yeah, we went over that one. And Protections. The only 2 we haven't gone over is Swiftfoot and Lightning Greaves. They give Haste and Shroud for Lightning, for Greaves, and Hexproof and Haste for Boots, which is good for your commander. That's technically a stacks piece, and that's it. That's the wipe. So yeah, the deck is really angel coded, running all the good angel cards, trying to push, and then gaining life and stuff, which is what angels like to do. Really, like, if you're looking for an angel commander, Atraxa's fun. I like Atraxa. I think having that little, like, one counter synergy is fun as well. So take a look at the deck, work with it, see if you like it, have fun playing it. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and Whew. Leave a comment down below telling me what you think about the deck. And maybe tell me what you think about Atraxa altogether. Peace.